Hey guys, what's up? This is going to be a different type of video, and this is about how I built out my truck for some camping adventures. So first things first is that I want to give credit to the other video creators out there where I got all of my ideas. I'm a doctor, not an engineer, and so these things don't come naturally to me. So probably like yourself, you found this video because you're trying to figure out how to build out your truck or your vehicle for some weekend fun adventures. So I watched a lot of videos, and as the saying goes, I learned a lot of things that I did not want to do or that I did not need. But I did find a handful of videos that were extremely helpful and insightful. So I'm going to tag them in the comments below or link them in the comments below and with what I got out of that video. So do please check those out. And if you see something familiar, it's because I got some of those ideas from those other creators. And the other thing I'd say is that I wanted something easy that I could put in and out of the truck because in the winter I'm throwing my other stuff in there and of course use my truck for other things. So I didn't want this to be a permanent setup. So super simple, super easy. Here's how we did it. Okay, so first order of biz, I mentioned this earlier. This is an F-150, nothing fancy, 5.5 foot bed. I'm 6'2", you do the math. I modified this so that I would sleep with the tailgate down and the hatch up. You know, if the weather was absolutely awful, I could lay in here diagonally on the sleeping platform and seal everything up. But of course that wouldn't be ideal, but nevertheless, it's still a possibility. So these are the frames. These are just cut from a 2x4. And then they're just in here loose. If you cut everything perfectly, they fit within the grooves. I have this bed lining that I had with the truck, but everything's just butt up to the side of the molding. And that is a 1x6 up there. And as you'll see, this thing is really held together by only a handful of screws. Now, the frame has these individual again, I put these little forms in there for the slats. There's a screw up there, and then there's a screw holding that 1x6 to this other frame. Now I'm going to put the slats in. Okay, here's the slats. You can see that first one up there is actually screwed in. These next three aren't. They just kind of fit right in there. I don't screw them down, and they fit, of course, perfectly up against the bed lining. They're not screwed in, just they don't need to because my mattress is going to be on there, my weight, so they're not really going anywhere. Okay, next is this center support piece. It just slides in again within the bed lining up to the end there. I will put 2 screws in it to stabilize it. I don't remember what size this is. All this stuff I had to like measure in great detail. You know, everything's just right on top of the wheel wells. I had to make sure I had adequate room. You know, I wanted enough sleeping room without being claustrophobic. And then this space down here, it's pretty funny. I had to spend a lot of time finding the right size storage container that would fit this width and height. But I was able to do that. So make your measurements how you want. You may want your bed higher, you may want it lower, but this worked well for me. Okay, final piece in the support is this piece here. Again, it's a 1x6. I'm going to screw it into the center slat. So really this is going to be held together by literally 2, 4, 5, and 6 screws up there. So it all comes out real easy. Now the trick with this is that this is hinged. Okay, this next part here, so here's the other slat on top of it. This is a hinge. I'll show you another close-up of that. This is attached to that hinge, and then it pops up, and it will stay like this while I'm asleep. My feet just rest on this part. You know, it doesn't need to be super hefty for that because, of course, I'll show you the rest of this in a second. But these supports are just attached with these little kind of hinges, and they're kind of wobbly and loose, and I like it that way because when I go to shut it, I just tuck the supports back in, and it fits within the storage compartment. And it's totally flush out of the way. And even this little pull handle is flush with one of the divots on the back of the tailgate here. So those tuck in when we're rolling, and then they'll pop out. And when we are sleeping. And again, it's just the way that your feet on here, so it doesn't really need to be super supportive. And obviously when I crawl in, I'm not putting all my weight on this section of it, but that's how this part works. And I just wanted to show you the detail of that little hinge. I did this last summer, so I don't remember all the details, but this is one long hinge, and I just cut it in half, screwed it with some little screws, and then just fastens on underneath there. And there's just close up real tiny little hinges right there. They do the job. Again, they're not getting a ton of weight on them, so they work really well. Okay, this is the sleeping platform. There's two pieces here. I just went with a thin plywood. I think it's the 3/8. I'm not a big person, neither is my girlfriend, so we didn't really require thick plywood. You probably don't either, because it's all, your weight's gonna be evenly distributed, especially if you're on an air mattress. So, and plus, you know, you don't want a ton of the weight of wood in the back of your truck driving around all summer. So anyway, this is like stereo speaker carpet that's in one of the videos I'll link down, that where I got that idea. And you just buy glue, and then I glued it on. This is obviously the underside, that's the top side. You know, obviously it's nice smooth carpet, so I can put my air mattress on top of it and not worry about it getting popped by anything. And these just slide in on top. Stand by. The only issue, these are a little dusty. I just left them sitting out in the garage all winter, so I'll give them a quick little vacuum before we start our summer adventures. Okay, next here are the storage sliders that I made. So again, that's that same 3/8 plywood, I believe. Like I said, I'm no engineer or carpenter, so I can't remember, but nevertheless, just made some plywood, put some little kind of guides on the side to keep the boxes in there. And then these slide in and out. The only problem I had was putting these handles into this thin plywood with thin little screws, because I didn't want the base of the screws grinding on the back of my tailgate every time I slid them out. But I think I fixed that. I had to double this one up because the screws were falling out of the plywood. If somebody has a better idea, love to hear it. So I'll show you how those go in here. We're all nice and sealed up. So this is what I do when I need to get something out of here. Pull the hinges up. I'll just lift it up a little slightly. Pull it out and I can get to all my boxes, which I'll show you next. Okay, last thing I'll show you is how the storage works in here. So just lift that up, pull the shelf out. I've got 4 of these boxes in here. This is where all the camping gear goes. When I want to shut it, I'm going to slide it back in. These get in the way a little bit, but it's really not that big of a deal. Shut it up and we're good to go. Keep watching if you want to see how I actually organize all my camping gear. And like I said, I sleep basically like this at night. You know, it's warm enough. The only bug issue we have in Colorado are mosquitoes, so I bought this giant net that just fits over the back of the truck, and it keeps all the mosquitoes out. Still get fresh air. Yeah, so that's how I do it. Okay, so I've got an air mattress here. I'll just throw it on top of the sleeping platform. As you can see, this extends all the way out over that foot platform. A little trick I learned last summer is just inflate it about 1/3 of the way down here at 5,000 feet where I live, and then by the time I drive up to altitude, the difference in the air pressure, this thing is fully inflated, so it saves me a little bit of time or whatever. So now this is full. what do I do if I want to shut the truck up during the day when I'm out climbing or hiking? This just kind of bends up, and then when I pull the hatch down, it just stays shut up like that, and it's fine. I've done that a bunch of times. It doesn't hurt the mattress. Or if I had to deflate it, I've got a pump to reinflate it. So that's how I sleep on that. I put like a fitted flannel sheet on top of it, then some good sleeping bags, and maybe another blanket and pillows, and we are snug as a bug in here. The other thing I mentioned, I just throw a mosquito net over the back of this. Do that pretty much all the time. Like I said, the only thing we have to worry about are mosquitoes. I'm not worried about bears or something coming into the truck at night. All the food's sealed up in boxes anyway. But so if the weather's awful, you know, we can seal it up, sleep in there that way. It'd be a little tight, but rather what I do is I bought one of those little cheapo pop-up tents. It's like, I think it's like 6x6 or something like that. So it just fits over the latter half of the truck beyond the tailgate here. And it even has those little sidewalls that you can Velcro in. And I did that once last summer when the weather was nasty at night, kind of raining sideways type of thing. And then that keeps you dry even with the hatch back up, which I'd rather sleep like that than being sealed up in here like in a coffin. But and then the cool thing is that if the weather continues to be bad, move the tent over to our campsite if we have one, and then I can cook and hang out underneath that. So that's what the tent is for, and that also will fit under here with all the other camping gear that I bring. So one other thing I want to share with you guys, this is an aftermarket tailgate hinge. Those of you that own these Fords know that the lovely folks over there didn't add this in, so when you drop this massive tailgate, it lands with a giant thud because it's so heavy. So I got this thing on Amazon. It's a DZ, I don't know, 15 bucks for this thing, and took like 10 minutes to put in, if that. And so instead of that big thud when you drop your gate, it just comes down nice and easy. Great little invention. Okay, easy to hop in. Just climb over. Again, I don't put all my weight on this, the footrest, but get in, lay down. Yeah. Yep. So that's that. Plenty of headroom. Of course, my mattress is probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches thick when I'm in here, but I'm 6'2", plenty of room for me in here, plenty of room for another person. It's sturdy, it holds up. And then I just, you know, make sure that these guys are good to go before I put my feet on them. And there you have it. Okay, so that's the setup. Yeah, just be creative, know your measurements. Again, figure out what problem it is that you're trying to solve. Like I didn't need this whole full-on overland setup, although I could technically live out of here as long as the food lasts. Wouldn't be that comfortable, but definitely good for at least a week or so. But yeah, like I was like, should I get a bigger truck? Should I get a van? I was like, no, I just need some place to camp comfortably that'll contain all of my gear, and it all fits in the back of the truck. I do put like a table in the back of the cab, and like I have a giant water jug, so a few little random things like that. But yeah, just check out those other videos, definitely linked in here. Those gave me some great ideas. Of course, there's 1,000 of videos on car camping and truck conversions these days, so check them all out. And then all my gear and all that stuff I found basically on Amazon for the most part, so I'll see what I can link. I'm not super confident about that, but nevertheless, check it out. Thanks for watching, and happy summer adventure to you.